What's going on, guys? You're back with the Shieldbearer Faith and the Better Half. So, I try to balance the type of videos that I bring you all with tactical, medical, preparedness, spiritual. Mainly spiritual, okay? This is the Shieldbearer Faith channel. But with spiritual, for us, is directly connected to family. And so when we were talking a second ago about what to make this video about, she brought up a good topic about quality time with the family, whether that be your kids or if you don't have kids, anyone you would deem as family. Because those are the people that you likely grew up with, that raised you, that have been with you through it all, or not. Maybe you're someone who has been very, very distant from your family. But let's kind of talk about that a little bit. So what was my weekend like? What was your weekend like? This is a rotation. My schedule has a predictable rotation, which is great on one hand because we can schedule 3 months from now what we're wanting to do. But every other weekend, I work 3 straight days and won't see my kids at all. So what's the weekends like from your angle?
So, depending on if he's on night shift or day shift, he's normally gone Friday, Saturday, Sundays. For us, that just means that I need to get the kids involved somehow. So Sundays is the easy day because Sunday we have church, so it's kind of planned and we know what to do. And normally we go to church with our families, so after church then we go see family. But Fridays and Saturdays are a little trickier because normally they're coming off of a stretch of time where he was with us. So our daughter always wakes up asking, hey, where's daddy? Or I want to see daddy, or can I go snuggle him, or whatever. So
And then she gets to tell him daddy's not there.
yeah, and then I get into the thing of daddy's not here, daddy's at work, and need to explain all of that, which at 3 years old, she has no idea what's going on.
She sees me sometimes, especially on night shift. She sees me getting ready for work. She sees me in uniform, sees me with the gun, the duty belt, all of that. But she doesn't really comprehend what I go do.
No. Like, even during night shift, if we were to leave the house before he does, even if he was in uniform, when we come back, she's like, oh, where's daddy? Because she doesn't understand that daddy leaves to go to work.
And I will tell you that is hard on everybody. It's
Yes.
not easy on me either. You know, I know some guys that I think would rather be at work than at home with their families. I think they would rather because there's no responsibility to it, or the responsibility is different because there is responsibilities in my job, but it's different. Nobody's coming up nagging me, you know, from 2 feet off the ground as a child, you know, pulling at your heartstrings. Nobody's doing that. So when I'm at work, in some ways it's easier. The focus is, you know, on the job or, you know, the guys or whatever. But man, it's tough when I go multiple days without even seeing my kids.
Yeah, so I try to, for our end, is like I try to keep him as busy as humanly possible. At night, if he's on days, then I try to keep our daughter up longer than her usual bedtime, which is tough on me because I still have work to do after she goes to bed, or I have work to do the next morning.
It changes the routine.
But it changes the routine and it changes everything. But at the same time, I want her to see her dad, even if it's for 15, 30 minutes during the weekend. So by the time Sunday comes around, it's good that we have family around because that gets her a little bit more distracted.
I can tell you real quick too that you can tell that she misses the male figure in her life. My daughter does, because my son's too young to really tell you any of this through actions anyway. My daughter really latches on to my dad on the weekends that I am working because we look, sound, and act a lot alike, and he's a good alternative to her dad. So
and it's very apparent because when he's around, then she latches to her grandma in that scenario.
Yeah, she
not
doesn't,
the grandpa as much.
She's not lacking the male as much.
And grandma's the one that spoils and gives
Yeah.
candy and everything else under the sun. So she normally veers towards her.
Yeah.
But anyway, by the time we get to a day that we see him again, we have to make a point to make it a family day or interruption. Our leaky house, crazy house is okay.
We're good.
We're not sinking. We're okay. But anyway, we have to make a point to make either a family day or take our girl to the playground or do something that is a little bit extra special that she feels like daddy's paying attention to her.
And don't get me wrong, it's not that our 1-year-old son doesn't need the attention also, but it's different. But he's easier right now. My daughter consciously knows and verbalizes who daddy is. My 1-year-old, it's cool when I'm around, but he's cool when I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of it. As long as he's, you know, got a clean butt and he's sleeping and he's eating. I mean, he's a happy kid anyway. He's a remarkably happy boy.
But our 3-year-old, like, she
knows.
verbalize some stuff and then some other stuff she doesn't know yet how to verbalize. Like, she doesn't really understand the I miss you concept. Yeah. But she's definitely clingier that day that she sees daddy again. Yeah. She's definitely wanting to be much more the baby that day.
In fact, let's talk about that, because that's a consideration here is, you know, you got to be careful not to cause your kids to be competitive. I know I was very, very blessed that I never had that with my sister, who's 5 years older than I am, and she never had that with me. Our parents did a really phenomenal job of equally distributing the love, we'll call it that. And we're trying to do that with ours as well. But when I go for the 3-day stretch, let's say, and then I'm back, you know, at home the day one, the problem we may have, and we've had this some recently, is to help her more, because she just had all that time where she was doing everything for both of them and working and doing whatever else needs to be done. I might try to relieve some of the pressure on her by, let's say, feeding my son, right? That takes a lot more focus to make sure he's not going to choke, to make sure the bite sizes are right, trying to feed him, right? Well, as I'm doing that, my daughter really, really wants me to be directly involved with her. So she'll say, Daddy, sit me, meaning sit with me.
Or feed me.
Or Daddy, feed me. And
she knows how to feed herself.
She knows how, but she wants me to participate. And so it's sometimes you got to really get yourself back on track. I got to be careful with videos for that reason. I get really, you know, involved in the finger movement of trying to respond to emails or messages or whatever. And sometimes I have to really, sometimes she'll have to tell me, you know, hey, do that in a little while. They're going to be napping whenever. Or I have to tell myself, be like, dude, just put it down. Because I really care about responding to y'all. And I really care about the ministry that this is. But at the same time, I really care about them. They're upstairs right now.
Yeah. On that same thought is like, yes, you need to watch the kids for not competing, but also you need to watch the wife. Yep. I may sometimes get jealous over the kids, as ridiculous as that may sound.
Guys, she's a fantastic mama. Okay, that's just a human thing, though.
I also have not seen him for 3 days. So I also want to see him and talk to him and have adult conversations and not baby conversations that I've had for 3 days. Like, I crave that interaction.
And I'll tell you, from my end, I crave all of it. I crave the free time, so that, you know, might be making a video, going shooting, something like that. I crave that because I just worked a whole bunch, and then when I wasn't working, I was sleeping. That's almost literally all I do. I eat, sleep, and work during those stretches. And then on top of the free time that you want, because your body wants some time, I want to see her, I want to hang out with her, I want to see my daughter, I want to see my son, I want to hang out with all of them, and you're trying to evenly distribute all of the little time that you got. And that's the whole point of this video, is you don't get any more time. It's probably the most valuable resource we've got. You know, in preparedness, we talk about the stuff a lot. We talk about the resources, the bullets, the guns, the food, the medical, all that. But time, we can't get more of. And we don't actually know how much of that resource we have.
Well, and your kids are not going to remember the preps that you stored. They're going to remember you and the memories, interactions, fun times, bad times, ugly times they had with you, that you invested into them. Not necessarily if you bought them whatever gone or.
Yep. And what I don't want to happen is I don't want to wake up one day and have missed 18 years of my kids' lives. You know, I don't want to do that. And it's not difficult to do in this day and age. I know it sounds kind of over-exaggerated. You just wake up one day and that much time is gone. But it feels to me like a week ago that my daughter was literally in the hospital room, just been born. And she was like able to fit in my forearm. And now she can run around and tell me what she wants.
Well, and honestly, I don't think that's something, spending time with your kids, out of all the things in this world, I don't really think that that's the one thing that you will regret later on in life that you did.
No. My best and most formative memories are either the hard times in life or the happiest times in life. And with that, I can tell you that the happiest times I've ever had were with my family. Whether it's my family unit now with my wife and my kids, or whether it's with my parents, my sister. My dad and I, he spent an enormous amount of time with me directly as I was growing up, going through all the, you know, troubling times that kids go through. But then I had Tourette's on top of that, so I was weird. Medicated, zoned out, twitching, squealing, yelling, all kinds of stuff. So had a bunch going on. Didn't do real well in school. On the weekends, though, when we had time, my dad and my mom made sure that we were getting some stress relief in some constructive, adventurous ways. I was scuba diving by 11 years old. No, I was scuba diving by 9 years old in an above-ground pool that my parents had in the backyard. My dad was a scuba instructor, and he came out with the gear one day, and the first time I ever tried it with him, I hopped in and I just used the octopus, which is the second stage, the secondary regulator. He just literally tucked me under his arm and swam around the pool. I was 9 years old. By 11, I was swimming at night and during the day with him, with my own equipment. By 13, I had more time diving at night than most adults did during the day because he made sure that we spent time. We did a lot of camping. We did a lot of crazy stuff. But I remember the time spent, and so it was well spent.
So I guess the main point is, how are you spending quality time with your family? How do you define quality time? Because that's another thing.
Yep.
For us, we had a day of going to Rural King and spending time with the family, and that was our quality time. We all spend time talking to each other, singing crazy songs on our way there, and dancing like crazy maniacs on the road.
We got there in one piece, though.
We got there in one piece. We had some good food along the way, and we ran around a store with a bunch of fun stuff, and that felt like a mini vacation.
It did.
Refreshing mini vacation for us. It was a good reset button for us.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that that's the good reset button for you or for your family.
Yep.
So what is the thing that you can do for your family that will say, here, I do care for you. Let's do something a little bit special. Even if it's, let's go to Wendy's and go get a Frosty. Like, whatever it may be that is out of the routine for you that would make everybody love each other a little bit more.
Here's another point that we have found beneficial. The cell phone we're using to record this video right now, it almost calls to us, right? We all can say this if you use a smartphone. It almost calls to you. It's almost like you can't get it out of your hand. Put it away, especially during meal times. There is something biblical about having a meal together. It's foundational. It's among the last things Jesus did with his disciples. I don't think that's coincidental. He talks about the way to remember him was in a meal fashion with communion, right? So there's something to that. Focus on the meal. Actually talk to each other. Don't have a TV in front of you. We can't go to Buffalo Wild Wings or any place like that because I can't not be distracted by the TVs. I look around too much. I try to observe what's around me. Well, in doing that, they orchestrate TVs in so many places, and it's flashy and moving, so it catches my eye. I can't focus. So you need to make sure that you're actually spending the time. I mean, here recently, she's had to catch me a bunch and be like, hey, too much phone time.
For
Yep.
us, it's been little things. Like, it doesn't have to be anything fancy.
Yep.
We've done picnics. It's wintertime. We've done picnics in our living room, and our daughter loves it. She thinks it's the greatest thing we ever do.
Yep.
And it's literally, she goes, picks up a blanket from her bed, we put it on the floor, and we put whatever meal we were going to eat
Yep.
anyway.
Crackers and cheese or whatever.
We just sit all on the floor and we have a picnic. It
Yep.
doesn't cost you anything,
Yep.
but it's just that extra thing that makes it extra special for her.
Yep. And let's say you're somebody, we'll kind of finish it up here. Let's say you're somebody who doesn't, again, have kids or anything. This could still apply for you. Because there is somebody in your life that you probably could use your time better with. Whether it be a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whether it be mom, dad.
Just a friend.
A friend. It could be anything like that. There are people that God has placed in your path that are there for reasons, that are there as either helpers in your life or comrades or friends, whatever you want to call them. They're in your life as a part of that. Make sure you're really using that time. Really use it to the best you can, because again, time is something you're not getting more of.
And all of this will make that other person feel appreciated too. Because in our society, it's so unusual for people to actually have conversations and put the phone away and truly care about one another and ask meaningful questions without being distracted.
Yep. And guys, we're probably going to end it there. We're running long, but wanted to kind of give that to you guys for a minute. I hope you all are having a great evening, and we will see you later.
Bye.